Hi everyone! So I know that we didn't get to meet today, which is Sunday, or should be Sunday, but I thought I would go over a couple things from the lecture because I remember this lecture and it's kind of hefty and I want to make sure you guys are, give you a little bit of a leg up on some things to study. So first of all, Dr. Norskov asked this question in class and the question is, what is connective tissue's main characteristic that separates it from the other three tissues: muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and epithelial tissue? And you all should know this, and it is the matrix. Now, it has a high level of matrix, or a lot of matrix, compared to amount of cells, and it's super important to know that because that is definitely going to be a test question. Let's break down the matrix, which we did in class, but it's really important to know this too. So I have a little example here, which is something Norskov did last year, and he kind of apologized for not having it this semester, but I have some jello here that I did not make because I did not have time, and we're going to make some matrix. So matrix is made out of three things, and the three things are protein fibers and, ground substance and fluid. Okay, I almost forgot. I'm going to open up our jello. And in our lovely jello, we're going to stick first our cells, because as we said before, the difference between connective tissue and the other tissues, or the main difference, is that the cells there's very little number of cells compared to matrix. So I don't have raisins, but I do have, these are craisins. And so I'm going to stick these in here. And these are our cells. So they could be anything. They could be, like, think of your Highland cartridge. This is your cells in the lacuna. Just gonna stick them in there. All right. There's a lot more matrix to cells. What is the most common protein fiber found, or protein found in the body? You need to know that too, and that's going to be collagen. Now, collagen fibers are in here. Pretend this is our collagen fiber. It's a twisty tie thingy, so I'm going to stick this in here too. And there's a lot more of these in actual matrix, but that's okay. This is just for demonstration. So hopefully you can see that. There's our collagen fiber. And now reticular fibers, they're kind of not really fibers. They fall under the category of fibers, but they're so fine that they don't fit under the technical term fibers, but that's okay. But the way I remember them is reticular fibers branch out like a root system. R for reticular, R for root, so that's how I remember that. And I'm not going to put any in here because they're so fine and there's not really a good picture of them, so there's not going to be a diagram or something like that on the test, so don't worry about it. But the last fiber is I'm not focused here. The elastic fibers. Now this is a rubber band to try to help you remember that elastic fibers are stretchy, and they do what? They can go back to their normal shape. Things like your ear, it can stretch out, come back to where it was. Kind of don't do that too much, or they will stretch out for forever, like gauges. Actually, you can grow more cartilage after you can cut your ear off. Okay, if you have gauges and you cut them, over a period of time they'll continue to grow. The cartilage in your ear and your nose will actually forever keep growing. All right, so here we have our elastic fiber, our rubber band. We're gonna stick that in our jello. This is a really small jello thing, and it's very difficult to stick this in here. So I kind of just smushed it in the side right there. You guys can see that. All right, so those are all our fibers and our cells, our craisins. The next thing is what? The next thing is ground substance, and that's basically what our jello is. Our jello is ground substance. It in itself, it is ground substance, and ground substance is made out of three things. The first thing is, let me make sure I'm saying it right. The first thing is hyaluronic acid, and if you remember the three S's that Dr. Norskov talked about, the hyaluronic acid is super slick, and the way I kind of remember that is that this top part of the jello here, can't really see, but if you've ever ran your hand on jello, it's really slidey and slick and gross. So that's, well, it's not that gross, it's kind of yummy. But that's your hyaluronic acid. And then You have your proteoglycans. Remember, proteins. Proteoglycans are made out of proteins and saccharides, aka sugars. And it traps water. So Jello, we all know, is composed of dye, water, and gelatin. And so the gelatin is basically, it coagulated, I guess, the water, I guess is the way you could say it. But yes, there's a lot of water stuck inside of this. And the third thing is adhesive molecules. And that's what makes Jello so sticky. It can't come out. It sticks to your fingers if you get it on your fingers. But that is adhesive molecules, the things that, can't really see it on my finger, sorry. But that's what sticks everything onto your Jello. And of course, the last thing is water, and obviously we talked about how there's so much water already in here because what holds the water? The gelatin, but in a more scientific term, it is the proteoglycans, the proteins. But just for the sake of visuals, we're gonna pour some water into our Jello and onto my floor, apparently too, and all over. So there, it's on the plate now. So hopefully you can see that. I'm going to drink this. So something super important to remember, and to continually learn throughout the whole semester is suffixes and prefixes of a whole bunch of these words, because if you do learn them, they will increase your learning speed super fast, and you'll be super efficient. You'll be able to pull apart words, understand things way quicker than if you don't know them. So for example, here are my examples. So we have here blast, clast, site, osteo, chondro, and malacia. Alright, so you guys should know what these are. Blast, and osteo, you guys should know what these are. Blasts means something that will create. Clasts is something that will destroy. And site is usually something that will maintain. And then over here we have our osteo and our chondro. So if we combine osteo prefix and blast suffix, we get an osteoblast. So this is a organelle that's going to what? It is going to create more osteocytes, or create osteo. And then same thing if you would put these together. Or what if we have a chondroclast? Is this upside down? No, it's not. Okay. A chondroclast, that's going to break down cartilage. And we have an osteocyte. That is something that's going to maintain your osteo or your bones, right? Because osteo means bones, chondro means cartilage. And now what's this one? Malacia. So we've heard of osteomalacia. And so what this is a suffix, I'm sorry. Osteomalacia would be what? Malacia means softening. And we all know someone who has osteomalacia, their bones are softening, and it's commonly happens in women, and it's super important. Ladies, please exercise, eat calcium. Mostly exercise, just be frequent with your exercise. But anyways, so malacia means to soften. So if you have osteomalacia, your bones are softening. And there's also a disease or something called chondromalacia, which is your cartilage softening. So it works like that. And these are found everywhere throughout all of A&P, and it's super important to try to find them. I try to bring them up as often as I can throughout the past sessions. So definitely write them in your notes. It's super important to be able to look at those, memorize those, understand what they're saying so that you can recognize words better. All right, the last thing I want to go over is the bone section in this notes, where it's on page 17 at the bottom. It's all about the bone, the bones. So yes, bones are connective tissue. And what I really suggest you guys focus on is learn that organic, inorganic, understand that the organic part of bone has to do with collagen fibers, also protein, because proteins make up collagen fibers, because collagen fibers are a protein fiber. So no, organic is protein. A way I remember that is when people say eat your protein, they usually mean like eat something like meat or beans, and these are like things that are organic. Well, you can get them organic, or so organic protein, organic collagen fibers, know that. And also know inorganic inorganic hydroxyapatite. Hydroxyapatite, just say it, write it over, know it, and know that it's made out of calcium phosphate. Important to know this because next chapter you're going to know all about bones, and there's going to be a lot of diseases relating to if there's inorganic parts missing or organic parts missing in a bone, and what would that happen to, what would happen in the situation of if you didn't have the right amount of organic or inorganic compounds in your bones. And this is a part where I remember last semester a lot of my friends who I was working with were kind of confused on what would happen if you didn't have such and such. So just look over that, really study that, know which part is organic, inorganic. We'll get to a lot of that next chapter, so don't really read ahead, I don't think, just yet, because we still have a lot in this chapter. But definitely know that, and also know that blood is connective tissue, as Dr. Northcliffe said, and as is in your notes, but that is kind of like an odd question sometimes, or an odd thing to think about. But definitely go through all of your notes, not just the things I mentioned, because everything will be on a quiz or a test. So definitely know that. Look through all the classifications of connective tissue, just like we did with epithelial tissue, if you guys were there for a past session last time. And in preparation for studying for your quiz, definitely it's going to be over both chapters, so go over your epithelial tissues, your glands, characteristics of all the types of tissues, and just get really comfortable with the material because you will see it again and again. So, yay! Bye!